Tottenham's all-time leading scorer. A striker who finds the net from anywhere with the ruthless consistency of a machine, season after season after season. And yet, for almost his entire career, one cruel word was stuck to him, a word repeated by fans, by pundits, by the whole football world: cursed. Because the man who scored absolutely everything somehow never won anything at all. Think about how strange that is. Every single time you get close to a trophy, it slips away. One lost final. Then another. Then another. 5 major finals. For club and country, 5 times within touching distance, 5 times empty-handed. The captain of England became, against his will, the global symbol of the man who always falls at the final step. And that label is heavier to carry than almost any defeat. But to understand this curse and, more importantly, how he finally broke it, you have to go back long before the packed stadiums and the millions. Back to a little boy that one of the biggest clubs in the country looked at, judged, and threw away. Stay with me, because the ending of this story is not the one everyone predicted. Before we go back to the start, subscribe if you like the stories behind the legends. Harry Kane grew up in the suburbs of London, a kid obsessed with football like millions of others. As a boy, he was taken into the academy of Arsenal, one of the biggest clubs in England. The dream was on. Except it collapsed fast. They decided he wasn't good enough, not quick enough, not sharp enough, and they let him go while he was still just a child. Hold on to that moment, young Harry was judged not good enough and rejected. It's a wound a lot of kids never recover from. He was eventually picked up by Arsenal's great rival, Tottenham. But even there, nobody saw a future superstar. To everyone around him, he was just an ordinary boy, headed for an ordinary career. And for years, the facts seemed to prove them right. Tottenham didn't really count on him. He was loaned out, again and again, to smaller clubs, almost to get rid of him. In some of those spells, he barely played at all, stuck on the bench, ignored, forgotten. At that point, Harry Kane's story looks exactly like that of thousands of young players who vanish without a trace. But he had one thing the others didn't: a freakish appetite for work, and that wound of rejection driving him to prove, over and over, that everyone had been wrong about him. So he worked. Harder, longer, smarter than the rest. And one day, the door cracked open, and he would never let it close again. When his chance finally came at Tottenham, the explosion was total. He started scoring, and he didn't stop. Season after season, he piled up goals at a rate almost no one reaches. He became his club's #1 striker, then its greatest scorer of all time. With England, he took the captain's armband, carried the hopes of an entire nation, and eventually passed the biggest legends to become the top scorer in his country's history. The boy who'd been labeled not good enough had become one of the most feared strikers on the planet. As an individual, it was a total triumph. But one glass ceiling still hung above his head, and it was about to become an obsession. Because for all those goals, Harry Kane won nothing, not a single trophy. With Tottenham, he reached finals and lost them. With England, he lived the same script, including a European Championship final, lost in the cruelest way, at home, in front of his own people. In total, 5 major finals reached, 5 failures. And football is merciless. People started reducing him to exactly that. The great goal scorer who never wins when it truly matters. Every missed trophy fed the dark legend of the nearly man a little more. The pressure became enormous, almost unfair. Because you have to understand what it means to be the captain and the scorer of a football-mad nation that hasn't won a major trophy in decades. Every tournament, an entire country lays its dreams on his shoulders. Every penalty he steps up to take, millions of people hold their breath. And when it doesn't go in, it's on him, first, that a whole nation's heartbreak lands. Kane always showed the world a calm face, almost too polite, absorbing everything without complaint. But behind that impassive mask was a competitor who dreamed of one thing only: to finally lift a trophy. And as he approached 30, he realized that to do it, he'd have to make the most painful choice of his life. That choice was to leave Tottenham, his boyhood club, the one that raised him, where he was an idol, where he held every record. Staying was love and loyalty, but staying might also mean never winning a thing. So at 30, Harry Kane packed his bags and moved abroad, to Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs in the world, for a single reason: to finally win. It was a huge gamble, a wrench. And fate, cruel one last time, had a sick joke ready. In his very first season, while he broke goal-scoring records, his new club failed and won nothing. The curse, it seemed, had followed him all the way to Germany. The mockery doubled. What if the problem, in the end, was him? But Harry Kane didn't let go. He kept going, just like the rejected kid who worked harder than everyone else, the way he always had. And the very next season, at last, the reward came. With Bayern Munich, he won the German league title, his first major trophy. After all those years, all those lost finals, all that weight, all those cursed jibes thrown in his face finally, Harry mated his entire life, who took the worst public heartbreaks and kept walking while everyone laughed, and who proved that you can be defined by your failures for years and still write your own ending. So how did you see him cursed, or just misunderstood?